From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kayla Cockrell with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Monday, March 20th, 2023. Some of the world's largest snails were recently found right here in Metro Detroit. The size of a human fist, giant African land snails can grow up to 8 inches in length and 5 inches in width. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized 6 giant African snails at the Detroit Metropolitan Airport from a citizen of Ghana on March 9th. Jeb Foods says the giant African snail can be consumed and is a strong source of protein. These snails are not poisonous and benefit those with high cholesterol and heart disease as they are comparable to egg protein. It is unsafe to eat snails raw and they should be cleaned and cooked before consumption to eliminate parasitic diseases. Giant African land snails are often consumed and sometimes kept as pets in other countries. A news release to the Detroit Free Press says snails were intended for consumption by the traveler and have since been confiscated for further analysis. The snails were discovered when the traveler failed to disclose the contents of his luggage, requiring further inspection. In other news, an Oakland County judge set bond at $1 million cash for a woman who fled to her native Thailand on January 3rd, just 2 days after police say she killed a Michigan State University student as he walked on a road in Rochester Hills in the pre-dawn hours of January 1st. Tubtim Sue Howson, 57, was charged with a failure to stop at the scene of an accident causing death, a 5-year felony in the crash that killed 22-year-old Benjamin Cable. The judge demanded that Howson surrender her passport and driver's license, and if she is able to post bond, not to leave her home for any other reason than to appear in court. According to the release, Howson, who lived in Oakland Township not far from the crash, fled the scene. The release said investigators obtained a description of the vehicle and believed the driver was a female of Asian descent. A tip led investigators to identify Howson as the driver. Howson, who is of dual citizenship, both the United States and Thailand, left Michigan 2 days after the crash and flew to Bangkok. Howson told her lawyer, "She left the scene in a panic and flew to Thailand not to evade responsibility, but to instead get support, to sit down with her husband who was in Thailand for his job and decide what to do. She has been in the United States for 12 years and has worked at Whole Foods for 11 years, and she has been married for more than 20 years, her lawyer said. Cable, a senior electrical engineering student at MSU, was walking along Rochester Road after attending a New Year's Eve party and had been forced out of an Uber vehicle for an unknown reason shortly before the accident. According to previous reports, he was pronounced dead at the scene. His father, Michael Cable of Shelby Township, said after the hearing that his son's death was ruinous to the family. With his tearful wife standing nearby, Michael Cable said he'd been especially close to Benjamin, the couple's youngest child.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. A century-old depot in East Jordan, a quaint city on Lake Charlevoix that recently has emerged as an up-north vacation destination, is for sale. It received some social media attention after Brianna Roberts, a native Michigander and real estate agent from nearby Boyne City, who recently visited the depot, posted some photos of it. She's not the agent selling this bit of Michigan history, but she said she and her husband were thinking of buying it. The agent, Lee Simons, who's selling the long 4,200 square foot building, said he doesn't know too much about its history. It appears to have been built at the beginning of the 1900s, a time when train travel was essential to Michigan, and it sits on 5 acres near the Jordan River estuary. The property owner, he said, didn't know much about its history either. Railroads were once vital to developing Michigan's population, commerce, and industry. Gradually, however, as the nation's railroad system developed and improved, the use of automobiles and trucks replaced rail travel, and thousands of miles of track and numerous of old train depots in the state have declined and been abandoned. There are several in the community that would like to save it, Simon said. I would like to save it, but no one, he said, has stepped up yet.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, recapping how Tom Izzo and Michigan State have done it again. It's another trip to the Sweet 16 for the Green and White after Sunday's 69-60 win over Marquette in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Tyson Walker scored 24 points for the Spartans, leading his team to his hometown of New York City, as the next 2 rounds for MSU are at Madison Square Garden. On Thursday, the Spartans take on Kansas State, which knocked off Kentucky on Sunday. It's Izzo's 19th trip to the second weekend of the Big Dance, and with how crazy this tournament has already gone, with 2 number 1 seeds suffering early exits, who knows what this MSU team's capable of.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com.